I want you to do something for me. Pause your brain for 5 seconds and picture your kitchen. Not a fantasy bunker, not a doomsday warehouse, your actual kitchen. The one with the weird stain on the counter you keep meaning to clean. The drawer that doesn't close right. The cabinet where you shoved 3 things you bought once and never used again. Now imagine I told you there's a room in your house that contains EPA-approved water purification, military-grade shelter materials, a wound treatment the FDA licensed for hospital use against antibiotic-resistant superbugs, a fire-starting system that works when it's soaking wet, and a food production method that prevents scurvy without soil, sunlight, or seeds. You'd say, cool, where is it? And I'd say you just pictured it. You were standing in it while you microwaved leftover pizza last night. That's not a metaphor. That's not me being cute. 15 items, exposed, broken down, and backed by EPA, CDC, WHO, US Army, and peer-reviewed medical journals. You've already bought all of them. You already own the survival kit. You just never read the manual. Until right now. And item number 9, it's been in your pantry for years, possibly decades. The FDA approved a version of it as a medical device. Hospitals use it on patients that modern antibiotics have failed. That one's going to make you look at your kitchen shelf like you've never seen it before. The survival maxim. Here's the philosophy that separates people who survive from people who just collect gear. The best survival kit is the one you already have and already know how to use. A $1,400 bug-out bag in your garage means nothing when you're at work and the bridges are closed. But the bleach under your kitchen sink, that travels with your knowledge, and it'll purify more water than most commercial systems ever will. Gear fails, gear gets left behind, gear runs out. Knowledge doesn't. Liquid insurance. Water purification from your cabinet. The single most critical survival resource on the planet. Water. You can go 3 weeks without food. Most people won't last 3 days without water. And the average American home loses access to clean running water within the first 24 hours of a major infrastructure failure. FEMA says 1 gallon per person per day. Most families have maybe a day's worth sitting in random bottles in the Brita pitcher. So what do? Fight the crowd at Costco? Or walk calmly to your kitchen sink and grab item number 1. Item 1. The Silent Purifier. Unscented household bleach. The same bottle under your sink right now. The EPA, the actual Environmental Protection Agency, has published clear guidelines. 8 drops of regular, unscented 6 to 8% sodium hypochlorite bleach per gallon of clear water. Stir. Wait 30 minutes. Drink. That's the whole process. If the water's cloudy, filter it through a cloth first and double the dose to 16 drops. The CDC confirms sodium hypochlorite at proper concentration kills bacteria, viruses, and most protozoa. E. coli, Giardia, the stuff that turns a bad situation into a medical emergency. Now do the math. A 32-ounce bottle of bleach contains roughly 24,000 drops. At 8 drops per gallon, 1 bottle purifies about 3,000 gallons of water. The survival industry sells purification tablets, 50 in a pack for $8 to $15. You've got thousands of doses under your sink for the cost of laundry day. One critical rule: regular, unscented bleach only. Not lemon fresh, not splashless, not color safe. Those formulas contain additives that are not safe for consumption. Check the label. If it says anything other than 6 to 8% sodium hypochlorite with no added fragrances or surfactants, put it back. The boring one saves lives. And here's something the survival forums rarely mention. Bleach does have a shelf life. A fresh bottle is fully potent. After about a year of storage, it starts degrading. After 2 years, it's noticeably weaker. So rotate your stock. Use the old one for cleaning, buy a fresh one for emergencies. It costs $3. That's the cheapest insurance policy on earth. Now, bleach works best on clear water. What about muddy, silty, genuinely questionable sources? You need a pre-filter. Your kitchen has one. But first, what about water sources that bleach alone can't fully handle? Item 2. The invisible well, plastic wrap. Cling film. That infuriating roll that sticks to itself and never tears where you want it to. In survival, this is 2 things, and both are incredibly valuable. First, a solar still. Straight from the US Army Survival Manual, FM 2176. Dig a hole about 2 feet wide, 1 foot deep. Cup in the center. Stretch plastic wrap over the top. Seal edges with dirt. Place a small pebble in the center so it dips into a cone shape above the cup. Moisture from the soil evaporates, hits the plastic, condenses, and drips into your cup. 1 to 2 cups per day in sunny conditions. Not enough to live on permanently, but enough to keep you functioning. Second, and this one could save a life immediately, Plastic wrap is an occlusive dressing. Penetrating chest wound, sucking chest wound where air enters the cavity through the hole. Seal it with plastic wrap, tape 3 sides, leave the 4th as a flutter valve. That's straight from Tactical Combat Casualty Care Guidelines. The same protocols combat medics use. Commercial solar still kits, 25 to 40 bucks. Chest seals, 15 to 25 each. You've got a roll in your drawer that does both. Now I want you to think about something. You've got bleach for chemical purification and plastic wrap for water collection. But what happens when the water source is salt water? Or contaminated with heavy metals from industrial runoff? Chemical treatment can't fix that. Filtration can't fix that. You need to physically separate water molecules from everything else. You need distillation, and you already own a distillation system. Item 3. The disguised distillery, your stock pot. That big stock pot you use for pasta night. It's a water distillation system. Fill it halfway with contaminated water. Salt water, muddy water, anything. Place an empty heat-safe bowl inside. Flip the lid upside down so the handle points at the bowl. Gentle boil, steam rises. Pure H2O, leaving behind salt, heavy metals, chemicals, everything. Hits the inverted lid, condenses, drips into the bowl. Want to speed it up? Ice on top of the lid. Temperature differential accelerates condensation dramatically. The WHO confirms boiling kills all pathogens. Distillation goes further, removes dissolved solids and chemicals that boiling alone can't touch. Think about that for a second. Boiling makes biologically contaminated water safe. Distillation makes chemically contaminated water safe. Your stock pot does both depending on how you use it. One vessel, 2 levels of purification, and it's been sitting in your cabinet next to the pasta since the day you moved in. Countertop distillers sell for $80 to $200. Your pasta pot does the same job, always has. Item 4. The perfect partner. Coffee filters. Pulling this one forward because it pairs perfectly with item 1. Coffee filters are literally engineered to separate fine particulates from water. Place one over a cup, rubber band it, pour cloudy water through. Sediment stays, water clears. The EPA emphasizes that pre-filtration dramatically improves chemical disinfection. Turbid water has higher treatment failure rates because particulates shield bacteria from the bleach. Remove particulates first, then treat with bleach, and you've got a complete $0 water purification system. 4 items, 4 methods. Total cost, nothing. Coffee filters aren't done either. Stack 5 or 6 for an improvised dust mask. They catch flame easily for fire tinder. Small foraging containers. Not bad for something you use to make morning coffee. Speaking of fire, you're going to look at your cooking oil very differently after this next section. Controlled chaos. Fire from the pantry fire. Not just warmth, though that alone saves lives. Fire means cooking food safely because raw meat in a crisis is a fast track to the dehydration death spiral. Fire means boiling water, signaling rescue, and psychological stability. Studies on survival psychology consistently show people with fire make better decisions. The light, the warmth, the primal comfort of controlled flame, it keeps panic at bay, and panic kills faster than cold. Your kitchen has 3 items that give you fire without a single match. Item 5, liquid light, cooking oil, vegetable oil, canola, olive, whatever's in your pantry. This is emergency lamp fuel. Small glass jar, 1 inch of oil. Twist a paper towel tied into a wick. Aluminum foil over the opening with a small hole. Thread the wick through, 1/4 inch exposed. Light it. 1 cup of oil provides over 8 hours of steady light. Burns clean. Safe at room temperature because vegetable oil's flash point is around 600 degrees. It won't spontaneously ignite. Needs a wick to sustain combustion. FEMA's emergency resources acknowledge improvised lighting, and this is one of the oldest methods in human civilization. Soak cotton balls in oil and you've got fire starters that burn for minutes, not seconds. Long enough to catch damp kindling. Emergency candles, 5 to 12 bucks each. Oil lamp fuel, 15 to 20 per gallon. Your pantry's already stocked. Oil gives you sustained flame. But what about starting fire from absolute zero? No matches, no lighter, no flame at all? Item 6, the spark factory. Steel wool scrubbing pads. The ones attacking your burnt pots. This is an instant fire starting system. Pull fine steel wool into a loose bird's nest shape. Touch both terminals of a 9-volt battery to it simultaneously. It ignites. Instantly. Not after some coaxing. Instantly. Glowing orange and ready. The science, joule heating. Electrical current through thin steel fibers with high resistance generates heat exceeding steel's ignition temperature. roughly 700 degrees. The fibers combust because of their enormous surface area to mass ratio. Same principle that makes kindling catch faster than logs. The kicker, it works when the steel wool is wet. Wet matches, useless. Wet ferro rod shavings? Good luck. Wet steel wool with a battery? Still ignites. Electrical current doesn't care about moisture. Magnesium fire starters, 8 to 15 bucks. Steel wool pad plus a 9-volt from your junk drawer, already paid for. Now you've got ignition, but a spark is only the beginning. Fire needs to be protected, sustained, and multiplied. You need to cook with it, signal with it, and keep it alive in wind. For all of that, you need the single most versatile item on this entire list. Item 7. The Everything Sheet. Aluminum foil, absurdly, almost comically versatile in survival. Signal mirror, smooth a sheet over cardboard, polish it. Aluminum reflects up to 98% of infrared radiation and 95% of visible light. Search and rescue can spot reflected signals from miles away. Poke a hole in the center, sight through it, aim the reflection. Military survival training technique, improvised cooking vessel. 3 or 4 sheets molded around a bowl shape, boils water over open flame. Windscreen around a fire base. The difference between a flame that catches and one that dies. Solar oven reflector to heat food without fuel. Improvised Faraday cage for small electronics. Signal mirrors, 8 to 15 bucks. Windscreens, 15 to 25. One roll of foil replaces all of it. You've got water, fire. What kills people next? Not hunger, not injury, exposure. Hypothermia kills more people in outdoor emergencies than dehydration, starvation, and animal attacks combined. And your kitchen has answers for that too, including something you throw away every single week. The invisible fortress, shelter from the trash hypothermia, doesn't announce itself. You get cold, then confused. Then you stop caring that you're confused. Then you stop. Wilderness medicine data is clear. A barrier between your body and the elements is the highest priority intervention after immediate safety. Higher than food, higher than navigation. You shelter your way out of hypothermia, or you don't come out at all. Item 8. The body bag that saves you. Garbage bags. Heavy-duty kitchen trash bags. Cut a slit at the sealed end for your head, 2 holes for arms. Emergency poncho. Plastic barrier blocks wind and rain, reducing convective heat loss and eliminating evaporative cooling. The fastest way your body sheds heat. But here's where it gets clever. Stuff a large bag loosely with dry leaves, crumpled newspaper, dry grass, any insulation you can find. Climb inside. You've built an improvised sleeping bag. The loose fill creates thousands of tiny air pockets that trap body heat. Same principle as down jackets. Not because the material is warm, but because it traps air, and air is one of the best insulators that exists. Ground cover. Lay a bag flat, moisture barrier between you and cold earth. Prevents conductive heat loss through your back, where you lose the most heat lying down. This is something most people get wrong in emergency situations. They focus on covering the top of their body and completely ignore what's underneath. But the ground is a massive heat sink. It will pull warmth out of your body relentlessly. A single layer of plastic between you and the dirt makes a measurable difference. Rain catchment, drape as a funnel into a container. Bright colors for rescue signaling. The U.S. Army Survival Manual teaches all of this. Emergency bivy sacks, 12 to 25 bucks. Ponchos, 3 to 8 each. Garbage bags under your sink cover all of it. Item 9. The 100-mile-an-hour fix. Not in every kitchen, but a lot of them. And FEMA specifically recommends it for shelter in place. Sealing windows and doors against airborne threats. That's a federal agency putting duct tape in the official plan. In field survival. Twisted into a spiral, it's cordage strong enough for lashing shelters. Cut and folded correctly, it makes butterfly bandages, a wound closure technique that wilderness medicine courses actually teach. Fold the ends inward so only a narrow, sticky bridge remains. Pull wound edges together. It wraps splints, prevents blisters, repairs torn gear, seals shelter gaps. Butterfly bandages, 5 to 8 bucks for 10. Tactical tape, 10 to 15. One roll of duct tape replaces both and 15 other things. Water, fire, shelter. The trifecta is covered, and you haven't opened your wallet once. But now we enter the category that genuinely shocked me during research. Your pantry contains items used in actual hospitals, including the one I teased at the beginning. Here it comes. The pantry pharmacy, medicine hiding in plain sight medical supplies. This is what separates uncomfortable from dead in a real crisis. Not dramatic stuff. the mundane stuff. Dehydration from a stomach bug when there's no clinic. An infected cut without antibiotics. A grease fire in an improvised kitchen. Your pantry has answers. 4 items. Item 10. The ancient healer, honey, here it is. The headliner, honey. Regular, ordinary, grocery store honey. This is not just a sweetener. The FDA has approved honey-based wound dressings as medical devices. MediHoney, brand name, used in hospitals, by real doctors, on real patients, including patients with MRSA, the antibiotic-resistant superbug that terrifies infectious disease specialists. Published research in the Journal of Wound Care confirms it. Here's why it works. Honey has a low pH, 3.2 to 4.5, acidic enough to make bacteria miserable. Extremely high osmolarity. Sugar concentration so dense it dehydrates bacterial cells through osmotic pressure, and it produces hydrogen peroxide through glucose oxidase enzymatic reactions. 3 independent antibacterial mechanisms in one substance. Medical grade uses Manuka honey with extra methylglyoxal compounds, but research shows regular table honey demonstrates significant antibacterial properties too. Not as potent as Manuka, but meaningfully effective for field wound care. Application: clean the wound. Thin layer of honey directly on it or on a clean bandage. Cover: change daily, and honey never expires. Archaeologists have found 3,000-year-old honey in Egyptian tombs, still edible. Low moisture content and acidic pH prevent microbial growth indefinitely. 80 calories per tablespoon. Wound dressing, antibacterial agent, and infinite shelf life survival food in one jar. MediHoney Gel, $15 to $30. Your kitchen honey does the job and outlives you. That's not a life hack. That's ancient technology that modern medicine spent millions confirming. Let that sit for a moment. An FDA-approved wound treatment. Effective against antibiotic-resistant superbugs. Infinite shelf life. 80 calories per tablespoon for emergency energy. And it's been in your pantry this whole time, right between the peanut butter and the pancake syrup, doing absolutely nothing because nobody told you what it was actually capable of. Until now. Item 11, the 50 million life recipe. Salt table salt. Possibly the most important medical item on this list. The WHO's oral rehydration solution has saved over 50 million lives since the 1970s. The Lancet called it potentially the most important medical advance of the 20th century. The recipe: 6 level teaspoons of sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 liter of clean water. Stir, sip slowly. That replaces fluids and essential electrolytes lost during severe diarrhea, vomiting, or heat illness. In a grid-down scenario, gastrointestinal illness skyrockets, contaminated water, bad food storage, stress-weakened immune systems. Dehydration becomes a leading killer, especially for children and the elderly. Having this recipe memorized isn't optional, it's survival critical. Salt also makes saline wound irrigation, 1 teaspoon per quart of boiled, cooled water. Same basic principle hospitals use to flush wounds. Salt curing preserves food without refrigeration, a technique older than civilization. ORS packets, 8 to 15 bucks per 10 pack. Saline wash, 6 to 10 per can. Your salt shaker provides unlimited doses of both. Think about it, a recipe that costs fractions of a penny per dose and has saved more human lives than most drugs in the history of pharmacy. And every kitchen in America has the ingredients right now. You just need to know the formula. 6 teaspoons sugar, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 1 liter of water. Memorize it, write it down, tattoo it on your forearm if you have to. It's that important. Item 12, the kitchen pharmacy. Baking soda. Sodium bicarbonate, a one-stop pharmacy disguised as a baking ingredient. 1/2 teaspoon in 4 ounces of water. Antacid. NIH and FD. A recognize it as safe and effective for heartburn. pH around 8.3 neutralizes stomach acid on contact. Stress and disrupted routines during a crisis guarantee you'll need this. Mix with water into a paste. Insect bite and sting relief. Alkaline paste neutralizes acidic compounds in most venoms. Toothpaste substitute when your tube runs out. Mildly abrasive, alkaline enough to fight decay-causing bacteria. And the big one, fire extinguisher, specifically for grease fires. Never throw water on a grease fire. It flash vaporizes and sends burning oil everywhere. Baking soda, thrown directly on flames, decomposes and releases carbon dioxide, smothering the fire by displacing oxygen. The National Fire Protection Association confirms this. Antacid bottle, 8 to 12 bucks. Bite cream, 6 to 10. Kitchen fire extinguisher, 20 to 50. Baking soda covers all three. Item 13. The acid shield, white vinegar, 6% acetic acid. Studies in infection control and hospital epidemiology show it's effective against tuberculosis bacteria and many common pathogens. That's a legitimate surface disinfectant. Equal parts vinegar and water in a spray bottle, 10 minutes on surfaces, wipe. But the survival powerhouse use is food preservation, pickling. The USDA confirms vinegar-based pickling is safe when you maintain acidity below pH 4.6. Equal parts vinegar and water, tablespoon of salt per cup, heated and poured over sliced vegetables in a jar. Refrigerator pickles last 2+ months. Proper canning over a year. In a long-term disruption, preserving fresh vegetables could mean the difference between adequate nutrition and scurvy. Scurvy isn't historical. It's what happens when you can't get vitamin C for a few months. Starts with fatigue and bleeding gums. Ends a lot worse. Disinfectants, $4 to $8. Pickling kits, $15 to $25. Vinegar does both, plus sunburn relief, jellyfish sting treatment, and produce washing. 4 medical items: wound care, rehydration, antacid, insect treatment, fire suppression, disinfection, food preservation. From the same cabinets where you keep cereal. We're finishing with 2 items that do so many things they refuse to fit into a single category. The Swiss Army Kitchen, multi-use survival tools. Some items earn their place by doing one thing well. These 2 earned it by doing everything. Item 14, the indestructible cast iron skillet over 2,000 years in human hands. Empires rose and fell. The cast iron skillet is still here. Open fire cookware, directly on campfire, coals, rocket stove. Temperatures that warp aluminum, melt nonstick, and destroy stainless steel don't make cast iron flinch. No modern technology required. No replacement parts, no batteries. But here's the use most people never consider. Cast iron's thermal mass makes it a portable heater. Heat it near a fire for 15 minutes. Carefully move it, thick cloth, heavy gloves, into your shelter space. It radiates warmth for 30 to 45 minutes. Half an hour of heat from one warming cycle, no fuel burning inside your shelter, 0 carbon monoxide risk. In a hypothermia scenario, that radiant heat could be the margin. Camp cookware sets, $30 to $80. Portable heaters, $25 to $50. Your cast iron, which has probably been in your family longer than some relatives, does both. Item 15, the infinite container, mason jars. Mason jars, canning jars. You've probably got a few collecting dust or holding dry goods. Waterproof storage, documents, medications, fire starting kits, sealed and protected, marked with volume lines so they're measuring tools for the ORS recipe from item 11. Oil lamp housings with cooking oil from item 5. Fermentation vessels for pickling with vinegar from item 13. Every use leverages other items on this list, creating a system more powerful than any individual piece. But here's the use almost nobody knows about. Mason jars are sprouting systems. 2 tablespoons of dried lentils, mung beans, or alfalfa seeds. Soak overnight. Drain. Rinse and drain twice daily. Cheesecloth or mesh secured with the ring band as a strainer lid. 3 to 5 days. Fresh, living, nutrient-dense sprouts. Food science research in the Journal of Food Science shows sprouting increases vitamin C content by up to 600%. In a long-term scenario without fresh produce, vitamin C deficiency becomes serious within weeks. Scurvy starts with fatigue. It ends much worse. Sprouts may be the single easiest way to prevent it. No soil, no sunlight, no special equipment. Just a jar, some dried beans, and water. Sprouting kits, $15 to $25. Commercial sprouts, 3 to 5 per serving. Your mason jar produces unlimited fresh food indefinitely. And here's what makes this the perfect last item on the list. It ties everything together. The mason jar holds the water you purified with bleach and coffee filters. It houses the oil lamp you made from cooking oil. It stores the salt and baking soda. It preserves the vegetables you pickled with vinegar. It grows the fresh food that prevents nutritional collapse. One item, connected to every other item on this list. Your kitchen isn't just a collection of random survival tools. It's a system, and the mason jar is the hub. The reality check. Every solution on this list is real, tested, and documented. But every solution has limits. Bleach loses potency over time. Solar stills need sunlight. Your stockpot distiller needs heat. Honey treats minor wounds, not deep lacerations. ORS treats dehydration, not the illness causing it. Cast iron is heavy. Garbage bags tear. The point was never that kitchen items replace all survival gear. Some commercial products are superior and worth every dollar. The point is that preparedness isn't gated behind a price tag. You don't need to spend a single cent to be dramatically more prepared than you were 25 minutes ago. And knowing how to use what you already have makes every future gear purchase smarter. The survival industry sells gear. We teach knowledge. Knowledge doesn't expire, doesn't break, and doesn't need batteries. The final punch: 15 items, $0. Bleach, plastic wrap, a stock pot, and coffee filters, water purification from chemical treatment to full distillation, cooking oil, steel wool, and aluminum foil, fire, light, and a force multiplier. Garbage bags and duct tape, shelter and structural repair. Honey, salt, baking soda, and vinegar. A medical and preservation cabinet that rivals a field hospital's basics. Cast iron skillet and mason jars, cooking, heating, storage, and the ability to grow fresh food indefinitely. Tonight, walk into your kitchen. Look at these 15 things. Know that you're more prepared than 90% of people who've spent thousands on gear they've never tested. Preparedness isn't about what you buy, it's about what you know. And now you know. If this changed how you look at your kitchen, subscribe, ring the bell. We drop zero-cost survival strategies every week, and we're just getting started. Drop a comment. Out of 15, how many did you already know about? My guess is 2, maybe 3. Prove me wrong. Stay sharp, stay ready. The best survival kit is the one you already have.